Welcome to Understand All. I'm your host, Aslakir Gareleaf. Today, we're embarking on a fascinating journey into the world of animals with complex communication. So get comfortable, because you're in for a wild ride of discovery. When we think of language and communication, we often assume it's a uniquely human trait. But the more we study the animal kingdom, the more we realize just how much our fellow creatures have to say. From the depths of the oceans to the treetops of the rainforest, animals are engaged in complex conversations that would put our own chats to shame. Take dolphins, for example. These marine mammals are known for their intelligence and social behavior, but did you know they actually have unique names? According to research published in the Proceedings of the Royal Society B, each dolphin has its own distinct whistle that functions like a name, allowing them to call out to specific individuals. It's like they're saying, "Hey Frank, did you catch that last fish?" Just incredible. But it's not just dolphins that have a lot to say. Honeybees, those tiny architects of the insect world, have a complex communication system all their own. When a bee finds a particularly delicious patch of flowers, it returns to the hive and performs what's known as a waggle dance. And no, that's not the latest TikTok craze. The waggle dance is a series of movements that convey the direction and distance of the food source to the other bees. It's like a miniature version of GPS, except instead of a robotic voice, you've got a tiny bee shaking its booty. But the complexity of animal communication goes beyond just conveying information. In many species, it's a crucial part of social bonding and even cultural identity. Take sperm whales, for instance. These massive marine mammals are known for their haunting, clicking vocalizations that can be heard for miles underwater. But what's even more fascinating is that different populations of sperm whales have distinct dialects, specific patterns of clicks that are unique to their social group. It's like they're saying, "Oh, you're from the North Atlantic pod? I can tell by your accent." And then there are the birds. Oh, the birds. Songbirds, in particular, are vocal virtuosos, capable of learning and performing complex melodies. But what's even more mind-blowing is that they actually learn their songs in a way that's remarkably similar to how human infants learn language. Young songbirds go through a babbling stage, practicing and refining their tunes until they master the songs of their species. According to a study published in Nature, this learning process involves specific neural circuits that are strikingly similar to those involved in human language acquisition. Who knew that the chirping outside your window was actually a tiny avian language lesson? But perhaps the most intriguing example of complex animal communication comes from our closest relatives, the great apes. Chimpanzees, bonobos, and gorillas have all been observed using various forms of communication, from vocalizations to gestures to facial expressions. In fact, research published in the journal Animal Cognition has shown that chimpanzees use a vocabulary of at least 66 distinct gestures, each with its own specific meaning. It's like they've got their own secret handshake code. But what really sets great ape communication apart is the evidence of something we once thought was uniquely human: language learning. In the famous case of Coco the gorilla, researchers taught her to use American Sign Language to communicate with her human caretakers. Over the course of her life, Coco learned over 1,000 signs and was even able to combine them in novel ways to express her thoughts and feelings. Let that sink in for a moment. A gorilla, using human language to tell us what's on her mind. If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. But the question remains, why? Why have these complex communication systems evolved in the animal kingdom? What purpose do they serve? The answer, it seems, lies in the social lives of these creatures. Species that live in complex social groups, like dolphins, whales, and primates, often have the most sophisticated communication systems. Being able to convey information, coordinate activities, and maintain social bonds is crucial for the survival and success of these groups. In a sense, language is the glue that holds animal societies together. But it's not just about survival. There's also evidence that some animals communicate for the sheer joy of it. Take the lyrebird, an Australian species known for its incredible vocal mimicry. These birds can imitate everything from other bird calls to chainsaws to camera shutters with astonishing accuracy. But what's even more remarkable is that they often incorporate these sounds into their own elaborate vocal compositions, creating a sort of avian mixed tape. It's as if they're saying, "Check out this sick beat I dropped with a kookaburra and a car alarm." So what can we learn from all this? For one, it's a humbling reminder that we humans are not as unique as we sometimes like to think. The capacity for complex communication is not some special gift bestowed upon us alone, but rather a trait that has evolved again and again throughout the animal kingdom. It's a reminder that we are a part of nature, not apart from it. But more than that, studying animal communication can give us valuable insights into the evolution and function of language itself. By understanding how these systems work in other species, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the complexity and adaptability of communication in all its forms. And who knows, maybe one day we'll crack the code and be able to have a full-on conversation with a dolphin or a chimpanzee. But until then, we'll have to content ourselves with marveling at the incredible conversations happening all around us in the animal kingdom. So the next time you hear a bird singing outside your window or see a bee buzzing around a flower, take a moment to appreciate the complex communication happening right before your eyes. And remember, you're not just witnessing a simple act of nature. You're eavesdropping on a conversation that's been millions of years in the making. And that, my friends, is a wrap for today's episode of Understand All. I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of animal communication. Remember to keep your ears open and your mind curious. You never know what incredible conversations you might overhear in the wild. Until next time, this is Aslakir Gareleaf signing off.